Welcome back to making a UE5 tutorial every day for the rest of my life. It's day 12. And today we are going to be looking at the landscape tool. Obviously we have this setup, that's the default setup, but obviously no game really wants to have just these basic, horrible, blocky cubes. We want to have eventually grass and trees and a whole open world for our games to be explored in. So to get started with the landscape tool, we want to click on this selection mode and come down to landscape. Now, if we don't have a landscape, you should see a grid appear like so, and it's basically prompting us to create the space. Now, you can change things, so like we can change the scale and set it to 200, 200. The Z in this instance doesn't really do anything because obviously it is just a flat plane at this point. We can change the selection size to have more quads or less quads. We can change the number of components. So we could change this to like 10 and 10. So it'll keep the same space, but it just creates extra components for us to use. We can change the overall resolution. So if you wanted like a higher quality game, you would go for obviously a lot higher. If you wanted sort of like cell shaded, you could use a lot smaller. And then we can assign a material. Now I'm using an asset pack called So Stylized. It's a wonderful stylized pack that you can get. There's a bunch of them, but they really are brilliant. And we can come into here, get the landscape, and we can get the material. You can get all sorts of stuff though. If you want something that's a bit more higher quality, I will always advise you look at Brushify. It took me a minute there to remember the name. Brushify is a brilliant pack as well. But for this, we're just going to use the M landscape, and we're going to drag this in here. And then we can create it. Now, this might take a few moments for it to actually create, but eventually you will be left with a horribly looking black square. But if we come over into Paint, so again, you will have to set this up in your inside your material. But obviously, if you've just got the one material, you can come down here and give it a weight or landscape layer info. You assign that, and then we can start to paint each of the cubes. Now, because we have nothing selected, it will just set the entire cube to be whichever one you painted. That's just to add as a base, basically, because it needs some form of information in there, or like a type of landscape. So like I said, in this one, it's going to be grass. And then we have our grass, basically. Now, there's lots of different ways you can set up your landscape to have sort of like grass and stuff applied and things like that. But we're just looking at the different ways we can set up our landscape. Now, if we want to have maybe like a dirt road going through, we can do that as well, just by doing this, like so. We want the tool strength to be 1. So you can change the tool strength. You can also do like brush sizes and stuff. So if you wanted like a smaller dirt path, you can do that as well. Not sure really what's going on with this. I think it's because this pack has a couple of things you have to set up for it. So for now, it might look a bit weird, but obviously that won't be there when you get going. And then maybe we want like a little beach area. We can start plugging in like a little beach area. So maybe the sand comes off just here. Maybe we want to use a higher brush type like that, so we have a bit of a better beach front, like so. And then maybe we also want to have some rock. Now the rock actually is very cool in this pack, but I'm not showcasing that today. But it actually auto does it on the grass, so when you start creating humps and stuff, you will see that. But we'll cover that in a minute. Now I don't own the packs for like the snow and stuff, so I don't get access to the info for those. But because it's all set up in the master landscape, you actually can see what's on offer if you buy the other packs, which is kind of cool. So that's how we can paint our landscape to be sort of nice and different. The next thing we want to look at is starting to change the landscape. So you have a bunch of different tools to use for the landscape. Let's pick an area where we haven't got anything really going on. So we can sculpt, which is a standard. So that kind of, we can start just sort of painting. If we up the tool strength to like 1, it will be a bit quicker. So we can start shaping some areas. we can erase as well, so it will return back to being flat, which can be really useful if you make a mistake. If we rebuild some stuff, let's build a really sharp point. There we go. We can use the smoothing tool to smooth things out, so you get like a bit more of a nicer bump. But again, when you're doing this, I would probably reduce the tool strength down to like 0.3, so that it doesn't completely destroy what you've just spent time doing, and it will just smooth it out instead. It's not so bad. I'd even go lower than this, to be honest, and go to like 0.1, just so it's not as, it doesn't remove it as quick. But it's just obviously about, it's just about chopping and changing that tool strength depending on what you're doing. So again, if I go back down to 0.1, I can just smooth off the edges a little bit so it's not so sharp, and it doesn't completely remove what I've just created. Now there is also the flattening tool. Works kind of similar in the erase tool. For this, because I can just completely wipe everything out and return it back to being flat. However, if I start at the top of the peak, I can flatten everything out and then drag that across, and it will keep that level. It remembers that level and will pull wherever I put this cursor, it will return it to that same level that I had before. Really, really useful. The ramp tool's also really cool. So obviously it's quite difficult to kind of get a ramp from here to here. Doing it naturally, it'll take a lot of time. Whereas if I just click these 2 points and click enter, it will automatically create me a way up there, so that my player, all my enemies and my characters, my AI can find a path up to this top part of the mountain. So that's really, really useful tool. It can be a bit finicky because it's obviously straight lines. So if you want curvatures and stuff, you do have to do a bit of modeling, but it's really nice to get you going. Erosion just adds like a little weathered effect. Okay, I'm probably doing this with too higher tool strength, because 0.1 is absolutely decimating this stuff, but it just adds a weathered look to your landscape. And as you can see, you've kind of got these cool little divots kind of appearing where you've got like that weathered look. Very, very cool. Hydro does a similar thing, I believe, but it's more like the smooth tool in that sense. But again, you kind of get these nice little humps and stuff added to your landscape. The noise tool, you can do this into both. You can add or subtract, but I always use a very big brush size if I'm using this, because it basically will create additions and subtractions. So again, you get this kind of mountainous look to it. But you can smooth this out if you'd rather, but obviously if you're doing this over kind of like larger areas, you're going to start getting some really nice looking landscape effects. I wouldn't use this for any playable areas, but obviously if this is like background areas, it looks quite nice and quite effective once you get going. And as you can see, it's like creating the rises and the falls in the landscape. Really, really nice. Again, beautiful for getting a quick effect in your background scenes, because you can have these quite far off in the distance. You can use them over a lot larger scale, and it would look really, really nice. I tend to smooth mine out because I think it looks a bit better personally, but each to their own, of course. So visibility, mirror, copy, and select are 4 nodes I've never really used personally. I might cover them in future videos once I've had a bit of a time to play around with them. But the mirror tool, I think, is the only one I do know what it does, and that will apply whatever I do to the other side. So, for example, if I build here, and then I use the mirror tool and I apply it, then yeah, it doubles it over, which is very, very cool. The reason it's already doubled is because I tested this out before I actually commented on it. Visibility, I'm not entirely sure what visibility, copy, and select does, but like I said, I might try and cover a video of those 3 nodes in the future once I've had a bit of a chance to play with them. But this should be all enough to get you started inside the landscape tool, the landscape side of things. It's really, really nice to get you, it's a nice tool to use to get you a visually appealing area of your game very, very quickly. And once you start using things like the foliage tools and things, which I will cover in probably the next video, you can also start using splines and stuff. You can get really nice environments set up really, really quick. But hopefully you found this tutorial useful. If you're new here, leave a like, subscribe. And if you have any tutorial ideas, please leave a comment. I will be happy to cover them in the future. And as always, thanks so much. I'll see you tomorrow.